To respect your time, hopefully you took notice this is in the Trading 101 category. So this is just a very straightforward and simple introduction into the types of tools that you would need to be able to get involved in the markets as a trader. So if you're looking for some sort of like in-depth secret strategy, you're gonna be very disappointed and you probably wanna click off the video right now. But yeah, if you are new and you're thinking, all right, what all is needed to be able to trade? And not necessarily that, I'm gonna put a little spin. These are the things that you would need to trade intelligently. And sometimes because, in all honesty, you could have a couple of these and hey, I have the tools to trade. And I wouldn't be able to argue and say that is correct. You do have the tools to trade, but to trade wisely, well, that's a whole nother ballgame. So that's kind of the overarching assumption here on my part is that you want to know how to trade wisely. And if that's where you're at, which I hope it is, then these are going to be the core tools that you would want to have in your tool belt. Now, the first one is what I'm just going to call, well, that was a fail. Apparently my kids got a hold of the black marker. Let's try this black marker. There we go. Technology. What do I mean by technology? Well, you need something to actually be able to execute the trade. The last thing that you want to do is like go back to the 80s and 90s where you called up your broker. I mean, you can still do that. However, the commissions and fees on that sort of order placement is ridiculous. So the first thing you need is a bit of technology to do it. And when I say phone, I mean to actually enter a phone with internet. There we go. So you need the internet. You need a phone or a tablet or a computer. These are all going to vary based on the type of trader you are. But like I said, if you're in, well, what sort of things do I need to even have, to get involved? You need to have one of these. I mean, internet, yes, for sure. And then all of these would fall under internet itself. Another tool that you would need. I kind of already mentioned this in passing, but you would need a broker. And I'm going to put online there. Somebody that allows you to use the internet to put in trades. Because like I said, yeah, you can call up your broker, like maybe you've seen in the movies, brokers talking on the phone. And yeah, I mean, you can do that. And if you want to puff on a cigar while you do it so you feel cool, maybe kick your seat up, that's fine. Just know that that's a very expensive experience that you're giving yourself because those fees are insane. So you don't want to be doing that. That's not like I said, that's a tool, but we want to do it wisely. So an online broker. What broker? Well, that's a whole other rabbit hole. I have lots of videos on that. But in short, again, that just depends on your strategy and your goals. But nonetheless, you are going to need a broker, and a broker's job is to actually make a trade happen. So if you identify something that you want to buy, whether that's a stock or a bond or an option or a forex pairing, whatever, then the broker is your tool to come in that's going to actually go out there and make it happen where it's going to buy whatever you want to buy. And then when it comes time to sell, it's going to sell whatever you have bought. So broker, another tool that you would need. A scanner. Now this is going to be, they come in all forms, but a scanner is going to help you locate the type of, I'll just say stock, the type of stock that you are interested in. Well, how do I know what type of stock I'm interested in? Again, that's more complicated, and that's part of knowledge of how to trade. But in order to be efficient and to do all this in a wise manner, then yeah, you're gonna need some sort of scanner. Now, many times a scanner comes with the broker, but that's not always the case. But you are gonna need some sort of time efficiency tool, and that's the scanner, and that's where that comes into play. Another tool right there, level 2s. This is a risk management tool, and it can be used in many forms. In fact, I have an entire course on it. So I don't bring that up to tell you to go buy it. I mean, hey, I'd love for you to buy it. But my point is, it's a pretty in-depth tool when somebody can structure. I think the course is like 8 to 10 hours long, but an 8 to 10 hour course around one single tool. So yeah, but that is something that once again you do need to use. And in fact, if you're not using level 2s, especially as a day trader or certainly in like penny stocks, for example, you are flat out trading blind And you're playing a very, very risky game because a level 2 is going to tell you a lot and help you make decisions in terms of, risk and, maybe I could get a better entry and all those different things. But again, a level 2 is another tool that sometimes brokers will have, some include them, other times you might have to pay separate. But again, level 2s, that is another tool in your tool belt that you would want to have to trade wisely. And then the last part, and we'll bookend this here in black, is a direction tool. What do I mean by that? Well, this is going to sound very silly and overly simplistic, but way too many people overlook it. At the core, you need to be able to answer the question, well, what direction do I think is going to move? What direction do I think this stock, this bond, this option, this futures contract, whatever you are trading, you need to have some sort of tool to be able to answer that question. What direction do I think it's going to move? Again, it's kind of, well, no kidding, but it's amazing how many people overlook that. And all of a sudden they're like, well, I want to do this, that, or the other. I'm like, well, do you have a means, do you have a tool that's going to help you answer that question? They're like, well, no, not really. Well, then you're getting way too far ahead of yourself. Now, what do I mean by direction tool? What exists in that? Well, there's kind of two categories, and maybe you've heard of them before, but you have fundamental analysis. Can you tell that's the one I don't use? But that's going to be your cash flow statements, your balance sheets, all those that, who's running the company, management summaries, all that sort of stuff. That's fundamental analysis. You are looking at kind of the nuts and bolts, sectors. You're looking at maybe potential trends. And I mean, you're looking at trends in the sense of, do I think oil, for example, is going to continue to grow as a market or shrink as a market? Those are the types of trends you're going to look at. Or another is called technical. And this is what I use. This is what I teach. And that is going to be the use of charts, where you're just looking at a couple different components, price and volume. And then, there's ways you can manipulate them. But that's also going to be a tool that can help you answer that question. What direction do I think this stock is going to move? Do I think this option is going to move this way or that way or just go sideways? And that's a tool that can be used for that. Now, yes, I am self-admittedly biased towards charts. I think charts are great. But I would be just lying to you. I'd be misleading if I said fundamentals are worthless. No, some people do very, very well with fundamentals. Some people do well using a combination of them. So, I mean, it's not like you have to use technical analysis, but I would argue that even if you do use fundamental analysis, it's good to just keep your eye on a chart just so you can kind of, because whether you like it or not, charting with technical analysis, there are some self-fulfilling prophecies that exist with it because so many people watch it. So it's definitely something that's worth taking note of and learning. But these are going to be the tools that you want to have. And then the one assumption that I've made is that this is all kind of within, there we go. This is a bucket, okay? I know I'm great. But this is all within the bucket of knowledge. Because no matter, you could have the best computer. It could be fantastic. You could have the best commissions for an online broker. You could have, the geekiest of geeks built you the scanner. And they built you these level 2s. And then you're down here and you have all sorts of fancy charts and fancy balance. You are just fancy. But if you don't have knowledge, if you don't actually know how to trade, how to properly look at what, the information that's being given to you, then all these tools go out the window and they're just going to cause you to lose money. At the end of the day, the biggest and most important tool is what's between these two ears, right? What's in here? That's the tool that's going to take you the furthest, and that's where knowledge comes into play. So keep that in mind as far as physical, tangible tools that you can see, that you can feel. There you go. That's what's going to be required to get you involved. But just keep in mind, if you want to do things wisely, then you're going to have knowledge to support these tools so that they're actually, serving you in the way that they're intended to serve you. So I hope this helps. Any questions, leave those in the comment sections. But these are definitely the tools that you're going to want in your tool belt if you want to give yourself a realistic chance at trading success. If you are out there trading alone currently and maybe are in the market looking for a community to join to assist you in your trading or to just help you, give you another set of eyeballs,
then I do have a private trading community where you can trade alongside me and other experienced traders. So what you see popping up on the screen right now is both an information link. So if you click on the inner circle one, that is going to take you to the page where I explain all the details of what exactly come with the community, both the chat room and the newsletter. And then the other image that has popped up is a behind the scenes tour where you can see exactly what is going to be contained within the community. I take you through, like I said, a behind the scenes tour of everything, and that way you'll know precisely what you are getting when you join. So definitely check that stuff out if you are interested and thinking about wanting to join a community, and let me know if you have any questions.